Hi, let me start by asking you a question today. You know those boring exercises many books start out with when you're first learning your scales on the instrument? Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Of course, there are hundreds of these exercises and they obviously serve a purpose. That is, to help us learn a new scale inside out. However, when we're starting out and we're anxious to play some meaningful music, as soon as we master them and have them under our fingers, we just forget about them altogether. But what I want to show you in this lesson is that there is more to these scale pattern exercises than what meets the eye, or should I say what meets the ear. What we fail to realize is that they are all based on a motif that is diatonically transposed to begin on every degree of the given scale. And this is what is known as a motivic sequence. And let me add that these motifs, usually comprised of 3 or 4 notes, are in essence the melodic cells that day to day we unknowingly use to construct many melodies. So what I am going to do in this lesson is show you the procedure to extract these motifs from many of those boring scale exercises and turn them into what you set out to accomplish in the first place. That is, play real music and not just scale exercises. I'm Richie Zellon, and I want to welcome you to the Jazz Guitar channel, where I bring you weekly lessons on everything related to the art of playing jazz guitar. So, to begin showing you the procedure to actually turn these exercises into what sounds like a jazz line, let's go back and analyze the major scale, or the major scale exercise, better said, that I played previously. So this is the motif that we're using, and it consists of a major second, then another major second, and a major third down. And we want to transpose this intervallic structure to diatonically start on every scale degree. So starting on the 2nd degree, it would be on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. And that's a motivic sequence for you. Step 1. Alter the exercise so the sequence consists of the motif starting only on the scale degrees that make up its 7th chord arpeggio. That is 1, 3, 5, and 7. Also, if you go back, you'll notice that in this example, the 4-note motif doesn't exceed a third between its notes and consists primarily of stepwise movement or stepwise motion. This is recommended for the procedure to work smoothly, at least when you're starting out. So now we have Step 2. Discard any 4-note motifs from your sequence that begin or end on an avoid note. And this is just a cautionary step that you may or may not need to take. Let me show you a different exercise in which the motif, starting on the 7th, ends on a 4, which happens to be an avoid note. So this is the main motif in the exercise. Starting on the root, 1, 7, 6, 5. So we're going to transpose that to the 3, to the 5, and finally to the 7. And notice that it ends on the 4, which is an avoid note and clashes. So in the case of an exercise such as the one I just played, we would simply discard the motif starting on the 7th degree of the scale. And with these 2 steps I've shared with you, we now have the proper resources for me to teach you how to create lines to improvise over a 2-5-1. In order to begin forming our jazz lines, we need to compile several scale exercises based on sequence motifs, such as the ones I've just demonstrated. There are dozens of these out there, and I don't want to bore you by taking up too much time in this lesson with them. So I'm just going to show you 3 of these scale exercises over the 3 major 2-5-1 modes, that is Dorian, Mixolydian, and Ionian. That way we'll have just the right amount of resources for me to show you how to create a decent line from them. Having said that, I want you to know that you can download a special study package from my website where I teach you 10 of these motif sequence exercises for the 3-2-5-1 scales. I also include 8 2-5-1 phrases based on these exercises, showing you which one each motif was adapted from. This will help you better understand and practice the line construction procedure I am going to show you next. And this is available for download from my website, jazzguitar.richieZellon.com/premium. Let's proceed. Here are the 3 scale exercise sequences we are going to work with. Scale exercise 1 is the one that I played at the beginning, and the sequence motif over the 1 major 7 or Ionian consists of 1 2 3 1 3 4 5 3 5 6 7 5 and 7 1 2 7. So all we have to do here to obtain our 5-7 or Mixolydian variation is to flat the 7 on all of these motifs where they appear. So we end up with, that remains the same, 1 2 3 1, then 3 4 5 3. And then, starting on the 5th, now we have 5, 6, flat 7, 5. And finally, instead of starting on the major 7, for the final one, we go flat 7, 1, 2, flat 7. And finally, for our 2 minor 7 chord or Dorian variation, we have to flat the 3 and the 7. Scale exercise 2 in its 1 major 7 or Ionian variation consists of and our 5-7 or Mixolydian variation consists of and our 2 minor 7 or Dorian variation consists of scale exercise number 3 in its 1 major 7 or Ionian variation consists of our 5-7 or Mixolydian variation consists of and our 2 minor 7 or Dorian variation consists of So now let's create a 2-measure 2-5-1 phrase. For starters, we simply need to pick any of the Dorian motif segments from the exercises. In this example, I am picking the motif starting on the flat 3 from scale exercise 2. And this is flat 3, 5, 4, and flat 3. And I'm playing it in 8th notes over a D minor 7, which is the 2 minor 7 chord, in C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I have to follow it with one of the Mixolydian motif segments, and I am going to use 5, 6, flat 7, and 5 from scale exercise 1. In picking the motif that follows the previous chord, I want to make sure that I use smooth voice leading into this new chord. And smooth voice leading means that you want the shortest interval distance possible between the notes at the point of transition, that is, from one chord to another. And this practice will make sure that your overall line sounds more unified. So let's hear what it sounds like so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. To begin the last measure, I want to break up that constant 4-note motif pattern. To do this, I can simply use a couple of notes from the arpeggio. In this case, I am going to use a 3 and a 5 for the first half of the measure. For its second half, I am going to use the 7, 5, 6, 7 motif from the Ionian scale exercise number 1. And this is how our finished line sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not bad, but not great. So how can we make this sound better? Simply by making it swing. So what we do now is alter the rhythms to come up with a jazzier variation. And to do so, all we have to do is take the existing notes and turn some of them into 8th note triplets, while making some longer and other notes shorter to compensate. Since we don't have any avoid notes to begin with, most anything you do is bound to work. Here's an example using the line I just showed you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there you have it, an easy procedure to turn those boring scale exercises into actual music. So dust off those beginning guitar methods and start extracting any motifs you find within the included scale exercises. And don't forget to adapt them so they're available for any scale you may need. Better yet, go to jazzguitar.richiezellon.com and download the study package for this lesson, which contains 10 exercises and several examples. As usual, I welcome your questions and appreciate your feedback in the comment section down below. And if this is your first time on the Jazz Guitar channel, please subscribe, like, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so you will be notified of my upcoming lessons. See you in the next one. Until then, stay safe and peace be with you.